Oh, well, good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It's early. Hope you can hear me. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I worked my little tush off. Oh, wait, let me get to my chat over here. Good morning, everybody. Who do I got? Sue, hello. Who else did I? Yay, Heather. For fuck's sake, Fitziana, you're here. That's my nickname for you from now on. I saw Dinky say it, and it sticks, and it's perfect, and I love it. Who else? Why be so nosy? Good morning. Who else is here? Angel. Oh, hi, Angel. I know you got surgery coming up. I'm thinking about you, sending lots of positive vibes. Ro, good morning. Always good to see you. Echoes, hello. Oh, good. Okay, everybody can hear me. You like that, Heather? My nickname for you now. Like Fitziana. It's my most favorite thing ever. It's the most perfect nickname, and I just love it so much. So, yeah, I figured today is going to be, I had a really busy work weekend, but probably like most of you, even during my very busy work weekend and other things going on in life, my brain still thinks about this case a lot. It's tomorrow, Angel. Well, I'll be thinking about you. I know you have the best surgeons, and I know that you said they're going to give you a beautiful pair of tatas at the end of this. So, you know, I'm super happy for you that they can fix that. I had an aunt actually that went through a full double mastectomy, and she had to have reconstructive surgery for that, and it was a long process. So thinking about you. So, anyways, as I was saying, yes, this case, you know, bugs all of us, right? I think that if anybody yesterday, Swamp Rose, I just want to say a quick thank you because it was Swamp Rose yesterday who I believe shared my channel. And I had asked everyone, when you could at your leisure, I had shared a video from DEF CON. And I don't know if anybody knows what DEF CON is, but they hold DEF CON every year. It's almost like a convention for IT people, hackers, things like that. And I had shared a video from DEF CON. And it was these two gentlemen, one who specifically used to work for NSA and, quite a few. He was in the military, worked for a bunch of government entities. And basically, their talk, it's almost like their TED talk, basically, on how to precisely recognize deception and then counter it. So hopefully everybody got to go watch that. I shared it because it just made my brain kind of it because it's all about recognizing and deception and countering it no matter where it's coming from, whether it's coming from your mainstream media, whether it's coming from your government, whether it's coming from even maybe police officers and other people in a case who, your spidey senses tingle and your gut tells you someone's lying. Something's off here. Well, that's what this is all about. We all know something's wrong, right? So that's why I shared that video. Hopefully, everybody got to go take a gander at it. It's about 45 minutes, but I'm telling you, listen to it, have it going in the background on the TV while you're cleaning or something. And I'm telling you, it's incredibly educational, incredibly informative. At least I think so, anyway, in my opinion. So, got me thinking, and I decided, you know what? I would like to completely review the actual sworn testimony of the two main case agents on this case, who basically, for the most part, did all the warrant work. And that would be your Detective Lawrence Mowery and Corporal Brett Payne. So I figured, why not review the testimonies, both of these gentlemen, and see what we can learn from what they said. Now, if you happen to hear any background noise or anything, sorry, I have the window open for the kitty. She runs this house, so if she needs the window open, that's what she gets. So, hopefully everybody's got a notepad if you need it. I hope you got your coffee, your tea, your beer, wherever you may be in the world at this time of day, whatever you need. It is, Heather, is it not? Correct. I agree. Psychology behind propaganda techniques is astonishing. Yes. Yes. And I think it's really interesting, too, in that video, how they talk about that literally no matter where it's coming from, 9 times out of 10, your spidey senses are going to tingle. Most people are going to know something's off. So, echoes. Exactly. Propaganda is a fancy word for lies. Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not accusing anyone here, right? I don't want to come out and wholeheartedly say that, like, I think that, Audrey, Miss Audrey Cakes, good morning, my darling. Always so good to see you. Good morning. Yeah, so, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, these police were lying and everyone's lying. And, I, I'm not going to go so far to say that. What I will say is that I do believe some mistruths were told. I think that when it comes down to one of the attorneys for the defense team in this case talking about the largely what's in this affidavit of probable cause is false. And you have the state even saying it is now irrelevant. I think that's very interesting. I think that would mean they themselves are implying someone lied somewhere, right? That's just my opinion. If you have to say the affidavit of probable cause that you use to arrest and indict this person is somehow now largely false and irrelevant, I would say you're admitting that you lied and I don't need to accuse you of it. That's just my opinion. Damn it. It's too early in the morning. I just spilled coffee all over myself. Hang on, friends. Let me clean myself up. Shit. Well, you know how your day is going to go, right? When, like, your second sip of the day, you spill it on yourself. Damn it. Row, right? You would think the way he was talking, he didn't know anything. Well, you would think, but I think that's part of the deception. Echoes. Cyray was very concerned with the second warrant. Yeah. Tonka, good morning. Always good to see you. Right? It's a good thing I don't have my camera on today, Echoes, right? Because you got me just pour espresso all over myself and miss my mouth entirely. All right. So, let's get to this. I think it's about 45 minutes. And then I figured with my snarky ass commentary, it's probably going to end up being like an hour and a half. And I think I have the second live scheduled for 11, where we're going to review Payne's testimony. So I figured rather than doing them both in one live, I would break it up. I want to do Mowery first, then we'll do Payne because Cy is also in that hearing. So we'll kind of get it both back to back, refresh our brains, let it marinate and take notes if we need to. Um, so, yeah, I don't know Tonka, right? I'm not sure. Obviously, I think we all know something was going on with Bryan at WSU. I think everybody knows that. Right. Exactly. Hmm. Right. But, even with Cy, too, right, we have to remember that Cy even said, should the state produce the thing, right? Because even he was saying that it's about 3% of the data that's missing, but it's not the percentage, it's not the amount of data that's missing, it's the locations of the data. Locations of the data. So we'll get to hear that all again. And even he said he reserves the right to change his mind should the state produce what's missing. Because the location data, that 3% is so important that should the state produce it and it's something that could change his mind, then he reserves that right. So I feel like that's something that's kind of the position I sit too. We all reserve the right to change our mind. That's why I have been very leery of giving a dead, because I truly, right now, I don't think, it is my strong opinion, I don't think Bryan had anything to do with the murders, right? Um, but I also understand that there is always a very slight chance that something can be produced that would incriminate him. So I just hope everybody stays open minded to that. That was the other thing in that little video I shared from DEF CON, playing devil's advocate, where they explain a lot of people have a hard time really doing that. It's incredibly difficult for people to play devil's advocate, especially when they've already made their mind up. I rather enjoy playing devil's advocate. It's something I've always enjoyed doing and trying to look at both sides. So, hopefully that doesn't upset anybody, doesn't make you want to like unfollow me or anything. As of right now, I think they got the wrong guy. But I do have an open mind that that could change, right? Um, and I think that's something that we all need to keep an open mind of. So, anyways, um, let's see here. Let me go to little Fitziana here. There is a reason why they frown upon witnesses changing their story. Imagine LE for X. Right, exactly. Yep. You don't believe anything was up with WSU? I don't know. I kind of feel like he got in trouble for something there. There is something that makes me think he got in trouble for something there. I'm not sure what it had to do with, but I do feel like he got in trouble and he knew that he was not returning, as far as returning as a teacher's assistant. Um, and the only reason I think that is because he left the keys to his office and he left that computer. And part of me thinks the keys to the office and the computer were left behind because they belonged to WSU as part of the teacher's assistant. If he was no longer going to be a teacher's assistant, then he would no longer need any of the things provided to him for the program as the teacher assistant. Like, he could have been returning as a student, but part of me thinks that he was relieved of the teacher's assistant position. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I really do think something happened there where he got in trouble. Because why else would he have to leave the keys to the office, his office at WSU that he shared with the other two girls, the other two criminologists there that were in the PhD program? I don't see why he'd have to leave the keys to the office if he's only going home for Thanksgiving and coming right back. You know what I mean? If they were going home for, sorry, Christmas break, not Thanksgiving. If they were going home for Christmas break and coming back, well, then why would he need to leave the keys? I thought it was too the keys to the storage that was left. That was one of them, right? But they also said that they got the keys to his office. That was one of the things Don Daniels was saying. The keys to the office for WSU. And I think it's in the PCA too, where they talk about gaining access to the office he shared with the two other ladies. I think in that Pennsylvania PCA. They're unredacted. I'm not sure. We're going to go through it tonight, though, because we're going to snark the fuck out of that thing, part 2 tonight. So I could be wrong about that, yes. Heather, as always, correct me if I'm wrong. No facts here, friends. You know what? Let me get that shit in the ticker right now. Oopsie. Let's get over here and do that. Let's make sure that's there. Right? No facts here. I don't know shit. There we go. Perfect. All right. I don't know if they were left in the apartment, Tonka. I just remember Don Daniels talking about she had to acquire the keys. So whether he left the keys in the apartment or they had to acquire the keys from someone at WSU, it would appear he did not have the keys to his office. I could be wrong, though. Yes, Anna, correct. Could have just been for the one semester, right, as part of the program. Yep. You like that, Sue? Yeah, I keep that in the ticker on my lives, right? No facts here, friends. I don't know shit. So, all right. So, anyways, let's get to this. I'm going to share screen here, and we will get to this hearing. Where the hell is it? There we go. Hopefully, I don't get a copyright strike. I think I'm sharing. It's Creme 2 News. Before I even share this, Heather, actually, let me just ask. Oopsie. Stop. Stop. Let's go.
Hate YouTube ads?
Yes, I do hate YouTube ads, actually, friend. Okay. Sorry, friends. P. Fox, good morning, darling. How are you? Okay, so sorry about that, guys. What was I just going to say? Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm sharing Creme 2 News's coverage, right, of the hearing. It doesn't have nobody's commentary or anything. Are they going to freaking copyright strike me if I share this? Or am I allowed to share this under fair use for educational purposes? Right? Do I need to put a fair use warning or something that I am sharing media, news media content for educational purposes? Yeah, maybe he didn't want to go back row, right? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Life of Riley. Good morning. How are you? I mean, I see other people sharing new shit, so I feel like I'm allowed to. I just don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm not a real YouTuber, if you guys remember, so I don't know. Hopefully they don't cut me off if I play this, but all right, fuck it. Here we go. Let me make this bigger. Lily, good morning. How are you? Welcome, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for being here. All right, I'm going to see if I can skip this loud-ass ad. Hopefully. Might be loud for a minute, so I'm going to mute it while we skip this ad. Let's do that, and then I can make it bigger. Skip. Pause. Make big. And check this real quick. Make sure everybody can see that. Oh, good morning, Translucent. Thanks for letting me know that. I am allowed to share media. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I'm an OG YouTuber. Yeah, it's wild. I've had a channel forever just because I had to create an account to be able to, like watch YouTube videos and like save certain things to playlists and whatever. But I didn't even start making content until I think this year. And originally, I only did my shorts. Good morning, Mary. How are you? I just shared like shopping haul shorts and stuff like that. For a while, people were like, you should do, I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to. But then I got sick of the fuckery. And I said, you know what? I'm going to share my own opinions and thoughts about this because why not? So here we go. Okay, everybody can see this. We're in full screen mode. And Eddie, yay, good morning. All right, we got some awesome friends here. Again, thank you, everyone. Also, before I even start sharing this, I just want to say I don't remember which live stream I did. What was my last live stream last week? I don't remember. We were going over something. I think it was DNA. We were going over something. I don't remember what it was, but I had a few people that sent a tip to me in my Cash App last week, and I don't know that they want their names said, so I don't want to like, unless they give me permission to say, yes, you can say thank you. I just want to say thank you to those of you who sent a tip to my Cash App. You know who you are. You're awesome. And I really, truly appreciate it. Nobody ever has to do that. And thank you so much. You definitely covered my Starbucks for the weekend. So thank you so very much for that. Very much appreciated. Marion. Good morning, Marion. What do we got here? The storage keys to the empty storage unit with the spider webs. Yes, that one. Yep. Yeah, and I believe you can see too that like in that they found like dust, cobwebs. They swabbed some brown stain that they thought was blood, but it wasn't, if I remember correctly. That's kind of funny. Oop, got the hiccups. Coffee. All right, everybody ready? Let's go. Let's go listen to this shit. This fucking stupid right here. And in between, I'm going to give my snarky ass commentary. So, what the fuck? Come on, YouTube. Move it along. What the fuck? Hang on. Let me fix this. Stop sharing that for a minute. Sorry, guys. I had it all queued up, and now YouTube wants to fuck around and find out. Here we go. Pause that real quick. Now I can share it. All right. volume up. They're like, no, Annie, you're not going to share this. You will not give snarky commentary on what our officers did. We will not allow it. What is happening? Hang on, friends. Let me go fix this. Refresh it. Pause. Let's go back here. Shh. All right. Fix that. Skip. Pause. Unmute. This better work. Sorry, guys. My bad. I had it all queued up. I don't know what's happening. I promise I'm fixing it. I was ready to go. It's Monday, and this is what happens on Mondays. I know. I usually would use law and crime too, Heather, but maybe I didn't look hard enough. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't look too hard. I pulled up probably whatever was like the second one that didn't have commentary. So, not going to lie. I didn't look too hard, darling. All right, here we go. Let's make sure. And we should be done.
Maybe.
Sure.
Yay.
Do you do
It's like every time I try to make it bigger, this is what it does.
any work with
No.
cell phones and cell towers?
It's like every time too. Honestly, anybody else I was having no issues whatsoever. Look at this. I have full Wi-Fi. I can see my screen, but I'm not even on Wi-Fi. I'm really on my own freaking internet. I have full bars, and yet this shit is.
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in time. I had one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server, so we have it as storage backup.
Good morning, Gina.
Did you inventory it at that time
Oh,
as you got it in, I guess?
hang on, guys. This is going to piss me off. I have no idea why it keeps pausing. Hang on. Because this is going to really, really piss me off. Good morning, Beckles. Well, I agree with you somewhat on that. I sure do. Yeah. I do feel like they were a little wonky. I also, yes, good morning, Dinky. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah. Um, but yes, I do, Beckles, agree with you a little bit on that. I also think, too, that if Hitler is such a fan of current precedent, then I think that Anne provided a good argument regarding Vallow, right? Reinstate, take away the DP, knock the death penalty off the table, and reinstate speedy trial. I think that should be done. I think that's what he should rule on. He should rule on current precedent. Because I can absolutely see what the defense is arguing here when it comes to the state of Idaho attaching death penalty to cases when they know that currently the means of which they would carry that out for an execution, either they don't have access to it or it would be unconstitutional. There has to be legislation created around it. So I don't agree that the state of Idaho, any state, honestly, should be attaching death penalty to cases if you know you don't have a current viable way. I agree with the defense when they say you shouldn't be allowed to attaching death penalty to a case, saying, well, when we figure out a way to kill you, we will. I think that should not be done. Whatever legislation they need to create to to remedy that issue should be done. And if the remedy is you can't attach the death penalty, but you can charge them life without parole or something like that, right? Like, I agree with that. But hopefully Hitler, since he likes current precedent so much, will thank you, Dinky. You're driving. Well, thanks for chiming in. Yeah, I appreciate that. He gave me good advice. Let's go change the picture quality, he said. Okay. It's probably like at its worst anyway, but all right. All right, hopefully this will work for us now, friends. Let's see.
I'd say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. So the industry had the name of it on it. I would label the folder of what it was, and that came from it.
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
Okay, so we know he had nothing to do with verifying the content of the surveillance. So that's interesting. What the fuck is happening with this video? Why won't it play? Look at this shit. Hang on.
About that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay? What training do you have for that?
Good morning, Life of Riley. Thanks for being here. I have no idea what's happening here. This is going to piss me off all morning.
Some time ago, I went through, like I say, PATC training.
All right, hang on. I'm going to do something different. Hang on. So I notice when I don't share it, it doesn't give me a problem and it just plays through. So are you guys okay with just audio for this or no? Because for some reason, when I actually try to share the video, and there's the life light going over. I mean, as long as you guys are cool with just audio, I can play just the audio because it's going to piss me off that, for whatever reason, when I share it, it keeps like making it pause, pause, pause. So I'm just going to share just audio for now, if you guys are cool with that. Because I'm basically just giving commentary on what he says. I don't really need to see the motherfucker, do you? I don't really need to see them, but okay, cool. You're cool with that, Ree? All right. Is it Ree or Ray? It's Ray, right? No, Ree. I think I already asked you that before. Good morning, Ree. How you doing? None your business. What's up? Okay, cool. Everybody's cool with just hearing it? Awesome. Me too. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to pause right there for 1 second because did you hear? So that question was really important. She asked him, and this is the actual cast training. And he says, well, it was done by FBI cast teachers, right? So notice that, like, she's getting to his training here. I know we've all heard this before, but I'm just going to give my snarky ass commentary here. It is my very strong opinion there isn't a single question she's asking him she doesn't already know the answer to. Because that's just how most defense attorneys work. Most attorneys are not asking you a question they don't already know. What do you mean you didn't hear it, Eddie? What? You didn't hear that? I have it all the way up. How can you not hear it? What the fuck? Hang on. How's that even possible? Hang on. Son of a bitch. Well, you know, it's like I, I don't even know why I bother. You didn't hear the audio. Mother F. I don't know how. I'm literally playing it in another screen. I have it on full volume. Life of Riley. Sick of the fuckery needs to be on your merch if you have. I don't idea. Maybe Maybe I will have merch that says sick of the fucker. Yes, okay. Thank you, Heather. That's what I was getting to. Her line of questioning is very telling. I know, but like merch is like so expensive. I feel like I look at some of the merch for other people's channels and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not paying $50 for a hoodie. Y'all are high. And I would never want someone to pay $50 for, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I guess if they can afford it, but holy shit. If I did merch, I'd want it to be like cheap. Well, I don't want to overcharge people or whatever just because I got to pay the merch fee and blah, blah, blah. Or, I don't know. I'm a crafty little bitch, though, so maybe I'll make my own merch and then I don't have to go through one of those merch stores or something. I'll think about it, Meanie, okay? Just for you. I'll come up with some cool merch that I can do. You and Life of Riley, and you guys can, And since Life of Riley came up with the idea, I'll gift Life of Riley a little merch basket. How about that? Y'all can send me a P.O. box. You don't have to send me your real address or nothing. I'll send you a little gifty poo. All right, let me figure out this audio issue here so I don't pull my damn hair out. Yeah, hoodies are $50. Exactly. Trelly balls, right? Good morning. Screen names are hysterical. Trelly balls. Yeah, you heard it when I had the small screen playing. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so you didn't hear any of that, where she says you do the work with cell phone towers. Did you? Mercy Cat, good morning. Your Rottweilers need shirts with that saying, sick of the fuckery. I'll think about it. Oh my God, doggy sweaters. I will. I will let you know if I do it, Meanie. Okay? And Life of Riley, for coming up with the idea, you get a free gift. Never even thought of making merch. I don't know. YouTube notified me about memberships and stuff. I can turn them on, but I don't think I'm going to because I don't know. I don't know. I want to turn on memberships. Nothing. You heard nothing, Heather. Okay. Well, what the fuck? Hang on. Let me go to my audio here, see what's happening. No, everything is correct. Everything is on the proper settings. This is gonna piss me off. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna go here. Wait, I'm gonna do that. This better fucking play, man. I'm sick of the fuckery already. We're 45 minutes in. This is a 45-minute thing. Mingya. Okay, let's see if you can hear this now.
Getting training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation?
Yes.
All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
So we gathered a
Can you hear it
lot
now?
of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in. Time at one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server so we have it stored back up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
I would say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. So the USB had been name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and I came from it.
Did you have,
Let's pause there for 1 minute. So he's saying that he has USBs, that this information was saved to USBs. You guys can hear that, right? Yeah, I know. I don't know why, Tonka. It's pissing me off. I've literally had no issues on my own internet. All right. I have full bars here on the laptop, so I don't know why it's giving me a problem. Good morning, Kim. How you doing? So did everybody hear that, right? Where he's talking about USBs and that he had the evidence custodian help him categorize everything with these USBs. What's that? Can't wait to see Pav's answer to convicts. I don't know what that means, Trilly Balls. I'm sorry. Answer to convicts. Who's convicts? What? I'm so confused, Trilly Balls. You just confused my whole brain. I don't know what Pav's is, or answering to convicts. I don't know what that is. It's too early in the morning and I don't have enough coffee in my brain. I don't know what that is, honey. So they do categorize, right? Exactly. According to Mowery here, he and the evidence custodian categorize these things into USBs. So that's interesting. What does it mean, though, Trelly? Oh. Oh, my God. Yeah. Now I get it. Okay. My bad. I don't watch the Pavarotti guy. I do watch AR sometimes, though. I like AR. I don't watch the Pavarotti guy, though. And I didn't see whatever video AR made towards that. I try not to get into the creator stuff. I could care less about creators who, and I'm not being disrespectful, I promise. You know, if these creators, like, they go back and forth with each other, it's cool, right? I'm just not one of them who's going to do that. I don't have time for that. I can't. It's too much. All right, so let's see. This fucking thing is going to play.
any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. So let's start there, okay?
I am gonna lose my shit. Where's Twiz? Are you listening, Twiz? Tell me what to do. I know you're listening. Maybe you're not. It's probably really early where you are. But this is bullshit. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this for 1 second. See if I can do something different here. All right, let's see here. This one. I think it's this one. Yeah, let me see if I can. All right, I'm going to do what Heather said, and I'm going to try to share Law and Crime. Hopefully this helps. Sorry, guys. I literally had everything queued up and ready to go, and everything was working fine until I went live. All right.
We're here for a motion and a potential witness, I believe, relating to motions to compel discovery, fourth and fifth. That's all I know. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Guys.
Your Honor, the court is correct. We are here to begin the motions to compel. We have testimony today from Detective Mowery. As the court will recall, he's unavailable on the 30th and 31st, which are the days when we will have the full scope of our motions to compel. So it may feel a little choppy, but we would like to hear from Detective Mowery today, and we call him when it's appropriate.
Okay, thank you. Anything preliminary, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings?
Okay.
Okay, great. Detective Mowery, come on up. Face the clerk, raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony given in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
All right, thank you, sir. Go ahead and have a seat there. Once you're seated, please state your name and spell your last.
My name is Lawrence Mowery, Mowery.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Taylor?
Thank you. Will you tell us how you're employed?
I'm employed with the Moscow Police Department.
What is your role there? How long have you worked for Moscow Police Department?
I've worked for Moscow for over 5 years.
Have you been a detective that entire time?
I have.
And prior to that, did you have law enforcement experience? How many years total?
Unfortunately.
Detective Mowery, did you take part in the investigation into the homicides on King Road?
Yes.
And what was your role?
A lot of different things. How to answer that.
Well, I can ask you about a couple of roles, maybe.
Sure.
Okay, for a minute. So he's under oath. This is his sworn testimony, right? When she asked him, well, he did a lot of things in this case. He doesn't know how to answer her question when it comes to his roles in this case, which is wild to me, right? I don't know how you don't know how to answer that question. You are the forensic detective for the electronics, right? Is he not the... So, I mean, he should know exactly what his roles were. His role was to do forensic downloads of devices and sift out that information. Right. I don't know. I'm just saying, it's wild to me. I only wanted to pause because I think it's interesting. He's not even sure how to answer her question about the work he did in this case. It's interesting.
Sure. Do you do any work with cell phones and cell towers?
I have taken training for cell phone analysis.
Was that one of the roles that you played in this investigation?
Yes.
All right. And the other area that I'd like to talk to you about is the collection of videotape evidence or surveillance evidence from around the community. What was your role in that?
So we gathered a lot of data, a lot of USBs, hard drives that came in. At one point, all of that was given to me so that I could copy it over to a server so that we have it stored and backed up.
Did you inventory it at that time as you got it in, I guess?
Don't have to say inventory. I used the evidence technician to help me book them individually at the time. Device or the USB had the name of it on it. I would label the folder, what it was, and
Did you have any role in verifying the content of the surveillance?
No.
I'm going to have a few questions about that, but I want to talk a little bit more about your role with cell phones and cell towers. What training do you have for that role?
So some time ago, I went through what they say PATC training, which is cellular analysis, and I've also taken classes with CASCOs.
The cellular analysis, is that particular to the device itself, the cell phone device?
No. That
is particular to towers?
To the towers and the providers themselves.
When did you take that training?
Well, the CAST, I believe it was in 2019, and then I also did it again last year.
And the CAST that you took in 2019, that was the ENDICAC, is that right?
That was predominant again, correct?
And the CAST that you took last year was October of 2023, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was the actual CAST training?
They were both done by actual CAST members. I'm not sure if one was sponsored by the other, but they were both owned by FBI CAST members.
And Your Honor, if I can approach.
Yes, thank you.
Notice how she asked, so that's the
Detective Mowery, I'm putting in front of you what's labeled as Exhibit O, and those are 2 certificates for training. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. The one that's from 2019, what did that cover?
That covered the use of the CASCOs software.
And what did the one in 2023 cover?
The same.
Your Honor, I move for admission of defendant's oath.
The objection?
No objection.
Okay, those are exhibit, oh, no objection. Thank you.
The Detective Mowery, how many total hours do those certificates represent of CAST training?
I apologize, I didn't look, it was a week long. That was actually a couple of days each time. 2 days a piece of
Do you need this?
So the 2019 shows 24 hours. The 2023.
Thank you.
Detective, you've written some reports in this case, is that correct?
Yes.
I want to talk about 2 particular reports right now. One is from May the 5th of 2023. Do you recall that report, or should I bring a copy of that to you?
It'd be helpful to add it up.
I can definitely do that.
Good morning, Lady Di. Let me pause this real quick for 1 second so we can get it on record here. Mowery is admitting that based on the training certificates he has provided at this point, correct, Heather, a total of 40 hours of CAST biz training from 2019 to 2023. Good morning, Meg. Hi, honey. So now this crime happened in 2022, right? And if the last training Mowery had, he's not even sure that it was training, an actual cast training. Okay. 2019, he did 24 hours. This crime occurred in 2022. So from 2019 to 2022, it looks like he had no further training in cast, and then decided to redo his certificate in 2023. Likely when the defense is demanding they produce proof of his training outside of his 24 hours in 2019. No facts here. That's just my opinion. Something tells me he had to, in 2023, go recertify or something, because the defense is like, wait a minute. Are you telling us that you only had 24 hours of CASPIS training when this crime occurred? And the last time you were trained was 2019? It's pretty wild, right? I don't know. I just think it's, how many times have you done cast? He says 12. This shit's wild. All right, let's get back here. I know I got another live at 11.
You can show it to Miss Jennings.
Judge's face too. Anybody, if you have time to go rewatch this yourself at a later date, go do it and just watch John Judge. His face has cracked me up, and he keeps smirking and like smiling at Anne. It's hysterical to me. Oh, look, he's peeking over, trying to see what Mowery. I don't know. I personally like John Judge.
We have a jury next door,
Okay.
just so you know. That's all about it.
Detective Mowery, does that appear to be your report from May 5th of 2023?
Yes.
And your order would move for admission of defendants P?
That's P.
P, like Paul?
All right. Any objection? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Exhibit P is admitted. No objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Mowery, I do not have a police report for the other one that I want to talk about today. It's one that I received via email today that was written just within the last few days by you, probably. Do you know what report I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I want to understand is we're talking about document logs that can be created by a CASPIS program. The report that you wrote that I received, when did you learn about those documents that exist according to that report?
The research logs that I found were from yesterday.
Why did you come to find them yesterday?
I was preparing for this hearing.
Okay. And those are things that existed for quite some time, is that correct?
They did.
And when you wrote about your work with CASBiz in May of 2023, did you document those items?
No.
Tell me what you found when you were preparing for the motion to compel today.
I found session logs that were sent to me from the FBI.
All right. And in those session logs, how many files were there?
I don't remember. I think there were 6 or 7 different items inside.
Did you look at the CASBiz 48-hour file?
I don't remember if I did it at the time of reception.
Did you look at it yesterday in preparation for this hearing?
I attended.
All right. And how about the CASBIZ full log?
I attempted to yesterday.
I noticed in your several items that you lived. Were those from these that you attempted to look at yesterday?
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, you need to speak up a little bit, or just telling me to pick up a little bit.
There were some files that were in the session logs, there were other files that were not.
Well, let's start with the 48-hour. What was contained in there?
There's over 48 hours that was the AT&T records, the original records, and there's a 48-hour session log. I don't know which one you're having.
Let's go with the what was in there.
Appeared to be the AT&T records that possibly were inputted, as well as some JSON files that were probably produced by Cousins.
JSON files were produced. Is that right?
I would assume that. I didn't create those files.
What date were they created?
I believe one was in December, the other was in April.
December of what year?
22.
And April of what year?
23.
Could you tell who created those?
Okay, let's stop here. Now they're talking about these CASBIZ logs, these session logs, right? One was created. Okay. The next one wasn't until April 2023, right? Now, notice how he's saying probably. Well, it probably came from the FBI. It probably. Notice he keeps using the word probably. I find that to be very interesting in this testimony. And even she says it regarding the email from Maury that she got, probably produced by you in the last couple of days. Everything is probably. I think it's very interesting that they're using the word probably. Exactly, Heather. Bingo. He has no idea who created them. He's not even sure how they came into his possession, which is why when they were turned over, when he was preparing for this hearing, and he'll state this, he did 2 folders. One is his actual stuff, and then the other folder are these things he found recently when preparing for this hearing. Very interesting. Probably. He probably got these from the FBI. Okay, all right, probably. I think that probably he knows who falsified these. But I'm just throwing it out there. If they didn't come from the FBI, but all of a sudden show up in his email appearing as though they came from the FBI, and they've been sitting there for a while and he's not even sure how they got there, or like, can we just stop? Let's just stop with the fuckery. I'm like, just stop. It's very clear that this person is testifying under oath. He has no fucking idea where this stuff came from. And then immediately when he found it and it came into his possession, he turned it over, and he turned it over separate from his own work. There are 2 folders. Isn't that wild? Yeah, I probably cannot think of anything more sus. Exactly. Right. Probably. It probably came from the FBI. It was probably around this date. The word probably keeps being used a lot here. It's wild. Yeah, it'll come up again later. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous. Let's continue.
Those?
I could not.
How did you get those?
I was provided those via email.
By who?
Mid balance of the FBI.
What did you do with those?
Gave them as soon as they were in my possession. I had contacted the prosecutor and gave them.
And that would be just yesterday, is that correct?
Yes.
What did you do with them prior to that time?
They were sent to me. I put them in a folder and I didn't do anything else with them. That's why I forgot them.
Okay. And that was the 48-hour file?
The 48-hour session log, yes.
All right,
How
sorry, I'm
about
going to
the full
pause
file?
again
What was
because
contained in there?
they were sent to me. I put them in a folder, and that's why I forgot about them, because I didn't do anything with them. I'm so sorry. What? So he's saying that the FBI sent him things. And what did he do with it? Well, I just kind of put it in a folder and didn't do anything with it at all. That's why I forgot about it until the day before this hearing, which is when he found it and turned it over to the prosecution. How absolutely fucking convenient for everyone on the state side, huh? How absolutely convenient for everyone on the state side that this information had been sitting in a folder for a long time, and only upon preparing for this hearing the day before is when he stumbles upon it. I don't think he is clueless, though, William. If you want my personal opinion, I think the reason that whatever he was given was put into a folder and forgotten about is likely because he was told to put it in a folder and forget about it. That's my opinion. Purely my wild speculation and opinion. I think he was told to put it in a folder and forget about it. Okay? That's just my opinion.
Similar items to the 48.
What is the full file?
I believe that was the second AT&T return that we got via warrant. I wasn't able to open it to verify it.
That brings up a question for clarification. When you say second warrant return, are you talking about something that relates to Bryan Kohberger?
Yes, there was 2 warrants that were originally written. One that covered a court period for the cell phone number, and there was one that was later done for a longer period of time.
And those are what you're referring to as the warrants 1 and warrant 2?
Correct. Okay. 48 and one for the longer period.
In the report that I just received today, there was reference to a loped bar file. What's that?
It is a file that I received from Agent Balance.
When did you receive that?
I want to say the modification or the email. I honestly don't remember. Unfortunately, it was yesterday, and I didn't throw this stuff together. So,
okay. So that was one that you just found yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Did you open that?
I don't recall opening it. But I did. I don't recall doing it.
How about the CDR.S.XLSX file? Was that, and CDR, what does that stand for?
Oh.
You open that?
I don't remember if I did not.
Did you open it yesterday?
I don't remember. I was trying to figure out how they came into my presence or in my possession. That's where I started.
Okay. The export.kmz file. When did you find that file?
I had found that one yesterday.
Do you know when that came into your possession?
It was some time ago.
Did you open that?
I believe I did on my laptop.
What did that show you?
It showed me different locations and so forth on a map.
Those 3 files that we just talked about, along with the CASVIZ 48 and the CASVIZ full, are those copied so that I can have those now? You referred to emails. How many emails did you find when you were prepared for this hearing?
There was 5?
Are those included for me to have now as well?
Yes.
Thank you. In the report that I received today, there was a reference to drawings.json file. What's that?
It was a JSON file that was inside the Cassidy's session notice.
What does that depict?
It's just data that Cassidy's would use, I'm guessing, to replot something on the map to actually show locations or other things.
Did you do anything with that file when you found it yesterday?
I did open that file, yes.
Okay. What did that show you when you opened it?
There were references to 2 locations inside.
When you open it, does it just say here's 2 references, or what does it show you when you open it?
It's different code, but there is some plain language or plain English, plain text inside of that code that show 2 addresses.
Did you use that file? Well, let me ask this.
So he's saying that when he opened this file from Special Agent Balance at the FBI, that there is code, right? Because she's asking him, what did you see when you opened it? It's a lot of code, blah, 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 right? For locations, as though they're plotting something, right? To plot out locations. But then he proceeds to state that there is also plain language in the code. Plain language regarding 2 locations. Okay? 2 locations. That's interesting.
This first. That file that contains code, do you use that with the CAST program?
I attempted to load the session file in its entirety and received errors, so I was not able to. That's why I went into the JSON file to see if there was something I could.
Okay, let's pause there, because he's saying the data, he had to copy that data from the file and upload it, and he kept getting an error code. He was getting error codes for the location data that was sent to him. So he had to do something with that data, because when he uploaded the data in full, he was getting an error code. That's interesting.
Steve.
Is that file usable?
Somewhere.
What is the restriction for you?
I don't know what restriction it is. I don't know what to do with that file outside of, if I could possibly bring it into the cast is. I tried to pull it in as a combined session log, which is what I was trained to do. So I didn't get that. I didn't pull that file.
Is that file available on a discovery drive for me?
Provided to the prosecutor today.
Thank you.
Provided it to the prosecutor today.
In the report that I just got today,
Fucking ridiculous.
There's a reference to cast biz session, some screenshot about.
I believe you're talking about this, the regular 48 hours folder.
No, I'm curious.
So that I provided 2 folders. One was cast biz and one was my last name of Maury. That was to differentiate the files that I found that were provided to me and the folder of the files that I used to create this report.
Okay. Cast biz is the file
Okay, I'm
found.
going to pause there, because that's what I was just talking about, that he just testified to under oath. He produced tools. One of those folders is his work. He produced 2. One of the folders is his work. One of the folders is the data that was given to him. right? What he found when preparing for this hearing, you know, all the stuff he oopsie poopsie forgot about and then stumbled upon when preparing for this hearing. So he's even saying here under oath, no. I got this stuff. I tried to do the work with it, was getting an error code. And then when I found it all again, I produced 2 folders. Mind you, one of these folders, he literally didn't produce it until the fucking day of the hearing. What the fuck is happening in this place out here? I just can't even believe it. I can't even believe it that they weren't sanctioned, that, you know, some kind of sanction from the court should have happened here. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Okay. He didn't save his work correctly. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Exactly, Sweet and Salty. Hello to everybody who is here and has joined. I probably missed a few people. Too fast for fleas. What's going on? William Tardy, hello. All right. Let me fucking play this. This is bullshit.
While preparing.
Correct.
And the one that says Maury is what you used to create your May 3rd report of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. I think I understand that now. In that file, I think your report said you found screenshots dated April 19th of 2023.
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that's the day that you put things into your CastViz program?
That was the day that I made the screenshots themselves.
Okay. Where are those screenshots now? Are those also included on the drive?
Yes.
Okay. And then dated 5/3 says that you were asked to examine the record. So I'm a little confused if you had something that you took screenshots of on 4/19, but on 5/3 you were asked to examine the record. What were you doing on 4/19 or before to get those screenshots?
So I was tasked, the date was May 3rd for the report. It's not the date that I asked him.
Okay.
I cannot remember. I'm gonna guess that it was somewhere around April 8th. That's when the screenshots were created.
Okay. Let's talk about that time frame then and what you did. Did you actually use a CastViz program at that time to create something?
Yes.
The CastViz program that you used at that time, and we're talking about springtime of 2023, we'll call it April for now, if that's fair. What training had you received by then to do this CastViz program?
The 2019 training.
Okay. With the CastViz program, what's the first thing that you did?
Once the program is open, you can drag and drop the CPR records into the program.
CDR means call detail records.
Right.
Did you do just 48 hours? When you put the record in,
Pause that. So in April of 2023 is preparing these records for the grand jury. He's only putting in, at this point, they have the 48-hour call detail records, but then they also have the much longer period of time call detail. And interestingly enough, for the grand jury, he's only putting in the 48. Nothing in the full. Isn't that interesting? They have 6 months worth of cell data at this point, and he isn't using the full data. He's only using the first 48. Isn't that interesting? Why would you do that when you have the full? You want to present it to the grand jury. We know grand jury was asking questions, wanting to know more information, right? So isn't that interesting? You have 6 months worth of call detail records, and yet you're only using the data that you received from the first 48 instead. Huh. Interesting. Anyways.
Those are the call detail records, and those relate to what?
To the phone that the records were coming back to.
The number you associated with Bryan Kohberger.
Right.
Okay. When, after you put those call detail records in, do you have to do anything with cell towers?
With the AT&T, no, because the cell tower locations are in the AT&T CPR.
Okay. So you put that record in, the tower locations are already part of the call detail record that you put in?
Yes.
Is that something that you have electronic on your computer and then you open your CastViz program and import it into the program?
Yes, AT&T provides PDF and text documents of the file, and I use the text document to put into CastViz to have it adjusted.
And when you do that, what gets exported?
Nothing. At that point, nothing is exported or created that I know of.
Can you export the session that you're working on?
You can export a session log, yes.
Did you do that?
No.
Ah.
How did you create screenshots?
In Windows snip tool, as well as the built-in Windows, they call it the game bar, which is just accessed by hitting Windows G. That allows you to record your screen.
Jesus.
Are those the only two things you did, is screen clip and screen record? How many times did you use call detail records in the CAST program?
Probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
That was a terrible question. How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger's call detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
The main need in the call details investigation.
Interesting.
I don't understand what that means.
Let's pause that quick. Did you guys hear what he just said there, right? She asked him how many times he used this information, the call detail records, the cast for Bryan, right? And he says, I don't remember. And she says, more than once? And he says, I don't know. Now, the reason that's interesting to me is because he's saying he only remembers doing it for the grand jury. Okay? He only remembers doing that for the grand jury. Interesting. I mean, there's a good possibility here, right? He didn't do any of it. Okay? That's why he seems to be wholly unprepared and doesn't really know. Okay? He probably had very little to do with it. It's someone else doing it who probably wasn't supposed to be or isn't trained. I'm not sure. But there's definitely something going on here where he is claiming he cannot recall how many times he did this for Bryan Kohberger, and he can only recall doing it once in preparation for the grand jury. That's interesting. No? Anybody else think that's interesting? I'm going to replay that again so we can all hear it again. Let's just make sure we get that.
Records in the CastViz program.
Probably a dozen times. I'm not entirely sure.
How many times did you use the CastViz program in relation to Bryan Kohberger detail records?
I don't know.
More than once?
I recall doing it for the grand jury because I wasn't the main lead in the detail records investigation.
I don't understand what that means.
He remembers doing it for the grand jury, but not the other times because he wasn't the main lead doing the call detail records. He wasn't the main lead person doing it. Interesting. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all know who my money is on, who was playing fiddly fuck with the cast information. You guys probably all know. I'm sure Heather's going to guess it on the first guess. We all know who I think was intercepting a lot of this data and information and playing fiddly fuck with it, but that's just my opinion. Purely my wild speculation and opinion only. So he doesn't remember how many times he used the data for Bryan Kohberger other than the one time to produce it for grand jury, because he was not the lead on that. He was not the person handling that, according to him. So that's interesting. It is, right, Meanie? He's testifying about something it doesn't sound like he's the one who even did the work for. I know. I'm like 99.87% sure I know who was playing fiddly fuck with all this information, who created the files, who deleted some things, who intercepted certain things. Bingo. It was probably Payne. Probably. I think it was probably Payne and Balance, or maybe just Payne. I'm starting to wonder, actually, though. Balance was like, you're not going to pin this on me, actually, and I'm going to turn over my text messages, because we'll see that when we cover Payne's testimony, right? It would appear that the text messages between Payne and Balance were turned over to the defense, and Payne was unaware of it when those messages were placed in front of him for him to read by Ann Taylor. So that's interesting. Part of me thinks Balance was like, y'all motherfuckers ain't blaming me for this. I'm just speculating, though. But yeah, it was probably Payne. In my opinion, it was probably Payne. Yep. All right, let's get back here. We're almost done. Well, not really, but kind of.
I wasn't the main person looking at those call detail records.
You weren't the main person with the call detail records, but you put them in the CastViz program anyway?
For the grand jury, I was requested.
Okay. What did you rely on in producing those? Producing whatever you produced for the grand jury?
Rely on what did I produce? As far as the AT&T records?
I want to know what you relied on to do that, to produce something for the grand jury.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. You weren't the main guy with the call detail records or with the CastViz programming. Did I understand that much right?
There was another investigator that was doing that.
Okay. But you end up involved in it somehow in April of 2023, is that right?
That's when I was asked to examine the data to provide that for the grand jury.
Okay. Instruction.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're asked by somebody else who's actually doing this part of the investigation in the case to produce something for the grand jury to use. And I'm curious about what you relied on, to get to that point. I want to know all the records you relied on, all of the emails, all of the conversations you relied on to produce this?
So I wrote the affidavit for the AT&T records. The AT&T records. These were also given to another investigator who was the main investigator doing the CDR records. Prosecution then asked me to provide or create some type of visualization of the call detail records and examine the call detail records for the 4 hours in question. That.
Just to be really sure, when you talked about writing the 2 warrants for AT&T, we're talking about 2 warrants that relate to Bryan Kohberger. There were a lot of other warrants. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to be really clear on that. You've taken the cast training. Is that right?
Yes.
And you know there's a way to save your session. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there's also a way just to hit reset and delete your session. Do you know that part too?
Mm-hmm.
And back in April, when you were creating something for the grand jury, you hit reset. Is that right?
Or I just deleted the files out of it. I don't remember if I had reset it with this one.
You don't remember which thing you did,
I do.
but you decided to delete what you created.
I don't know. I didn't delete anything. I didn't create the session log, so I don't know how I was doing it. You delete the reference of the.
So I just want to comment here. I think what Ann Taylor is getting at here, for any of us who've watched Psy, I think we kind of have a basic understanding. The reason she's saying to him, so you hit reset, didn't you? Is because the CAS system actually logs what you do on it. She isn't asking him a question she doesn't know the answer to. Okay, she knows that it gives him the option to save the session or reset. And if you reset, it means you're not saving anything. You're resetting and clearing, right? She knows that's what he did. Or not even him, whoever was in this, who, because he's saying it wasn't him. He's saying it was me. I wasn't the lead person. I wasn't the one doing this. Right? So, it's very interesting that she knows whoever was doing this, that it's going to show that they either save their session or they hit reset. They'll be able to see that. So I just think that's really interesting. And that's why she's getting at this. And that's why he looks all confused shit and he doesn't know how to answer. Because if he's not the one who actually did it, well, then he wouldn't know if he hit reset or save. He has no idea. That's just my opinion. Exactly. Heather. Just like it logs each time the footage is accessed. Right. Exactly. Right. I don't think it's necessarily that they're idiots, though. I think it's because they're lying. Right. I think it's because they're lying. I think it's because there's been a lot of lies. And, I'm not sure exactly what was going on behind the scenes here, but it appears to me that this person here, this digital forensics investigator here, wasn't even fully aware of anything done with CAST until he had to produce it for the grand jury. Outside of that, he didn't do the work. Someone else did. So, I don't know. Pretty crazy.
The file in the software, but the file itself is not good.
I want to make sure I understand. The record, the AT&T record still exists. You didn't delete that.
Correct.
But the session, when you put that in to the CAST Viz program, program and it does its thing with the records, which includes tab references, you either deleted that session or you chose to reset. Did I understand that right?
Didn't create a session log. I don't know how I would delete it. I just removed the reference to the file, the main file, from the software at some point. I don't know when I did that.
When you did that?
You can close the software without hitting reset or delete.
And then it would just stay there.
I believe it.
And you can also export your session if you get interrupted and you want to come back and work on it, right?
Yes.
Did you do that? You left it up and running at some point and then did something that didn't save it. Is that right?
The session log was never created. Did not create a session log. The EDR records that I was dealing with is relatively small. There's no need to do that because I can ingest the files right back into Cascades in a short amount of time.
Your Honor, just for clarity, may I approach? I have another exhibit to show. I'll give it to you, Honor.
Here, though, he's saying he didn't create a log. He didn't create these logs. So therefore, he couldn't delete them because he's not the one who created them. Agreed, Eddie. There's a difference between being an idiot and then intentional deception. The key here is to recognize deception and then counter it appropriately.
Are you familiar with the document that was handed to you that's marked Defendants W?
Yes.
And have you seen that before? Is that something that you were taught from the CAST Users Guide?
I'm sure I was. It's also included in the software that can be readily accessed.
Okay. And Your Honor, would move for admission of Defendants W?
Thank you.
No.
Objection. Okay, that exhibit W is admitted.
Thank you.
No objection.
In your training, were you also taught from the CAST?
I believe so.
I'm about ready to switch gears on you and talk a little videos for a second, but if I can have just one moment, Your Honor. Okay, let's switch gears for just a minute. You, during the course of your work, did you make contact with the Idaho Department of Transportation to talk about some of the cameras that cover main roads coming into and out of Moscow?
Yes.
And did you attempt to make preservation of any items? What items did you want preserved?
I was trying to see if they had saved video or still images from those files.
What did you learn?
That they do not retain those.
Did you, when you say they do not retain those, do you mean they don't retain videos or pictures?
Well,
Did you do a preservation for anything?
not recall studying actually a preservation letter out.
Okay. Your Honor, if I can have another exhibit provided.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Mr. Sentinel, and Yvonne, and everybody else I didn't get to say hi to if you're just joining. Thanks for being here. Miss Q, how you doing? So yeah, Mowery so far doesn't really know shit about shit. It's taken him so long to read this fucking exhibit. Mingya. As much money as these people get paid takes him this long. Sir, let's go. Thank you. Jesus.
What do you recognize that exhibit?
So these are emails that I was trying to find some kind of contact information for windy.com, a website that does weather-related information, as well as has some links to images from cameras that are covering the highway.
And did you learn that you could have some still shots preserved?
I did.
Did you have some still shots preserved?
I did not.
Okay. Your Honor would move for admission of defendants PP.
Watch Judge's face.
That's what, I'm sorry, PP?
Double P, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. Exhibit PP
Sure.
is exhibit
PP.
or admitted, no objection.
Hey, Greg, how you doing?
When we started talking, we talked about you that would take videos in from different agencies, even if you didn't verify what was on the device you received. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you...
Good morning, Kiki.
I have a specific one that a couple of them I want to ask you about. One is from Red Star Coffee Shop. Do you recall receiving that video?
I did not.
Okay. And
So he didn't get the Red Star Coffee video.
are you aware that it was booked in or brought in by police?
No.
Doesn't.
How would I find out about those videos?
I don't know. You would have to go through the USB drives to find out what was given. I was just given the mass USB drives. I was not given them individually by the people that were bringing them in for time. Given to them after it had been handed off to other investigators and other assistants that were helping the cops.
Is there somebody else I should ask about specific ones to track where they went?
I don't know. I don't have that information.
Okay. All right. Just
All right, let's pause there for a second. So it would appear the videos. So now she switched gears to the collection of the videos from the video canvas, okay? And she's talking to him about, because he had already testified in the beginning of this hearing, okay? Hi, Canadian True Crime Buff. How you doing? I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. Thank you for being here. So it's pretty interesting because in the beginning he already testified that he, in fact, along with the evidence custodian, were the ones in charge of all of these goddamn USBs that were being turned in for surveillance. So he and the evidence custodian are receiving all of the USBs from the video canvas. That includes from whatever ISP is collecting. Okay, so apparently we have a chain of custody issue here with one or more of these videos. In particular, she's speaking about Red Star Coffee Company video that was apparently turned over. And he's telling her you'll have to go search through the USBs because he doesn't remember the video. He doesn't remember logging it. He doesn't remember receiving it. And he doesn't know where it would be. So, I mean, that's awesome right? Thanks for joining, Kiki. Thanks for sharing the live stream. Appreciate you. Thanks for the shout out too. Hey, Robert, how you doing? Appreciate it. Heather, is the evidence custodian something like an evidence sniffing dog asking for pit bull potamus? I don't know. I just think it's absolutely wild that he has already testified under oath in the beginning. He and the evidence custodian are the ones who were in charge of these goddamn USBs. Okay? So there was a USB turned in from Red Star Coffee Company, according to ISP police reports. And yet, somehow, okay, the defense knows this because in their reports from ISP is saying they collected video from Red Star Coffee Company and it was turned over to Moscow PD. And Mowery here is saying he and the evidence technician are the ones who were in charge of not categorizing it all, right? So where exactly, if ISP turned over a USB thumb drive from Red Star Coffee Company with video on it, where's that USB? Because apparently it's not with MPD. And he's saying that here. He doesn't even remember getting the video. He doesn't remember categorizing it, doesn't remember verifying it, corroborating it, nothing. So that's interesting. Fucking idiots.
Your Honor.
Sure.
Thank you, Detective Mowery. I don't have any other questions for now. Hold on, the prosecutor might.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Ms. Jennings, Mr. Thompson.
Ms. Jennings.
Okay, Ms. Jennings.
Maury, I want to go back and talk a little bit about this CastViz program. Can you explain to me generally what is CastViz?
It's just a software that is useful in creating visualizations of the call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastViz do you have?
Currently 3 on my laptop. It's prompted me to update to 38. But at the time, I believe I had a pretty old.
So walk me through.
Fucking kidding me. He's using CastViz version 33, even though he's been prompted by the program that he needs to update to version 38. You fucking hear that? Do I need to replay that again, or did everybody catch that? Okay, Jennings here. This isn't even Ann Taylor. This is Jennings asking him, which version of CastViz does he use? And he's saying I use version 33, even though I've been prompted to update to version 38. What the fuck is happening? I can't. You've been prompted to update to version 38 and you're using version 33. So my next question, if I get a rebuttal, hopefully, I don't know, I don't remember if Anne, she gets rebuttal in this, but she probably, I don't know if she asked him about why he hasn't updated to version 38, but that's insane. What a fucking idiot. I'm going to replay that so we can hear it again. And if there's anybody here who doesn't like swearing, oh well, better click off. Let's play that again.
The call detail records.
Okay. So how is it useful? What does it show?
It shows the location and the direction of the cell towers and their sector antennas.
Okay. Now, what version of CastViz?
Currently, I think I have on my laptop, it's prompted me to update for 38. But at the time, I believe I had version 30 installed.
So walk me through. You start up the software program.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
Drag the text file.
For a second, just because, yeah, Mowery, walk us through why your computer, your cast program has been prompting you for God knows how fucking long to update the program you're using. Walk us through it, Mowery. Walk us through why you refuse to update. Just walk us through it, Mowery. You know? Ay. I can't even believe this. So everybody heard that, right? Okay. For fuck's sake, Fitziana, you heard that, right, girl? So his CastViz program has been prompting him because he only uses version 33. We don't know at this point of this hearing how long it's been prompting him to update to 38, version 38. So, I mean, hey, that's awesome, you know? Excellent job, Moscow Police Department. Excellent work. Psh, fucking idiots.
From the CDRs into the system. It ingests the files and then produces a display of that data.
Okay. And is that what you did on the 19th?
Yes.
And then what did you do with that visual that was displayed?
Those visuals, I created screenshots, created the screen capture of the video. CastViz also allows a timeline playing that you can record separate from Windows Film software. I can save those.
Other than uploading the CDRs, did you change any of the settings on CastViz?
The only thing I would have done was gone in and changed the, made sure that the time was correct because they were coming in from TC, sub-coordinated time. I wanted to make sure that those were representative of the local time.
All right, so you just changed it to Pacific.
Correct.
Any other changes? Okay. So you were talking about how it does not automatically save.
It does not.
Okay. And you chose not to save.
No. And in the exhibit that was provided, the actual text says that if you need to save the session file.
Okay. And can you tell me why didn't you save these settings?
I was creating the visualization exhibits. That's what I was doing with that.
Any reason to save the settings?
No.
Could this be recreated or redone in the same fashion?
Yes, I can, again, open the software, drag the CDRs back in a very short time is generated.
And it would give you the same information?
Yes.
Is that why you didn't save it?
Yes.
I want to switch over to the other.
That was leading.
Session files. Session files created by you?
No.
Okay. And did you ever use those?
No.
And have you now turned those over, provided those?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to switch gears over to what we were discussing as windy.com. What is that? What is Windy?
It's a website that is available for weather and such.
Okay. And why is that relevant in this case?
We were directed by an influence campaign that told me that we should look into windy.com.
And why is that?
Just to see if they retained video from the cameras themselves.
Okay. So
Interesting,
windy.com
you
has
heard that right. It was Corporal Payne who told him to look into windy.com. He was directed by Corporal Payne to do that. Interesting.
cameras.
They have screenshots. They basically capture the ITD cameras and put them on their website. Those images are routinely purged from their site for the administration of that.
Okay. And can you explain to me, when are those, you talked about them being purged from their site? What's that schedule?
From going on their website yesterday, it's a public website, so I was able to go back to it. I don't remember exactly. I believe that within 24 hours, it's hourly. Within a week, it's daily. Within 12 months, it's monthly. And after that, I believe I'm seeing probably like.
Can you explain why you didn't preserve those images from Wendy.com?
When it was discussed with other investigators, we would have only gotten one image a day. It wasn't what we were interested in, so we didn't capture that one. So
there is no value.
none that we did.
Okay. And have you since gone back and found some screenshots?
Yes.
It's what's available on the publicly available website.
Anyone can go to Wendy.com and grab screenshots there.
And you've now done that?
I have.
Anything of evidentiary value?
No.
Have those been turned over anyway?
Yes.
I just have 1 second. Sure. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Yes, just a bit. You were just speaking with the prosecutor about the images from Wendy.com. And I thought you didn't preserve anything or look at anything during your investigation. Did I misunderstand that?
So yesterday when I was directed by the prosecutor.
Okay, so yesterday the prosecutor said, go look for these things.
Yes.
But before that, you and other investigators decided not to. Did I get that right?
With the information that we were given, we were told that there would be a screenshot for the day, right, the parameters of it. We did not grab those.
Let's pause this. So yet again, yesterday, meaning the day before this hearing, prosecution asked him to go back and go get a screenshot from Wendy.com, even though that's not what they initially did in any part of their investigation. They initially saved nothing from Wendy.com because there was nothing of evidentiary value. But yet the day before this hearing, they asked him to go back and reproduce it so that they can give it to the defense. That's fucking sneaky, crooked motherfucker.
They were not, didn't see that they would be growth.
Okay. But you didn't look back then. You waited until yesterday. Is that right?
No, we looked back then. Most of the photos that were taken for the daily screenshot or the daily screenshots were daytime. They looked at the days kind of thing.
They took
screenshots
during the day.
Okay, but you did look at the time and made a decision at the time. Do I understand that now?
Yes.
Okay. Back to the cast viz for a couple of questions for you. When you were doing the work back in April of 2023, did you see maps on the screen with the work that you were doing?
Yes.
And
he didn't see no map. He's lying.
You also made a video of that. I want to show you a map.
She's going to show him a map to see if it's what she thinks it is.
Defendants are in front of you.
The cast is something.
Is that a screen capture from a map that you made?
Yes.
All right. Your Honor would move for admission as R.
Objection.
No.
Exhibit R is admitted. No objection.
So this.
And are you aware that when you can see mapping on your screen on this program that there's a log created? Okay. You would agree that if I were to take the call detail records that have the tower report in them, I would have to have the same cast version you were using to recreate what you did. Would you agree with that?
I have to have, if I took put them into a different version of cast, are you saying that it would become different?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. Let me try to be more clear about the one I was asking, and then I like yours. We might talk about your question as well. My question is, and the prosecutor suggested that your work be recreated. Mm-hmm. And so it didn't matter that you hadn't saved your session. Mm-hmm. What I want to know is if I have the 48-hour call detail records that can tell you have it, mm-hmm. do I have to have the cast viz program that you used so I can see what you did?
She would have to use version 33.
I don't know. I don't know what the back end of the cast viz software. I don't know.
Fucking idiot.
And you were in this CastViz program, at least for a while, creating exhibits that would be relied on. Is that right?
Yes.
On more than one occasion. Is that right?
Yes.
But you didn't save your work.
You did not create a session log. That's even me.
Would you agree I can't see what you did with that session log? Can't examine what you did without your session log?
It's there to create the visualization of the exhibits. That's what I use CastViz.
But I can't see what you did. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
No.
No, it's not right, or no, I can't see what you did.
You cannot, but I could take those cell data or call data records, put them into, as again, results would be what they are because we're still using the same records from AT&T to create
Have you done that?
these records.
Yes.
No.
Thanks, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anything on that, Ms. Jennings?
Can we go, why did you pull the CDRs into CastViz?
Why did I do that in April? Because I was asked by you to do it for the gender.
Okay. Is that the only reason you did it?
Yes.
Is that the only time you did it?
Yes.
Okay.
That I remember. I mean,
Yeah, follow up on that question?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Can this witness be excused?
Yes, please.
Any objection? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you. All right, you are excused, but you can.
Now we can pause that, stop sharing. Okay. Now we can discuss. Okay. Holy guacamole, right? That's why I say sometimes it's good. Like, I've listened to that hearing at least 7 or 8 times, right? I know Heather's listened to it a bunch of times too. We all probably have, but I'm telling you, more just you got to keep listening to it because it, especially the more that we learn things, to go back and listen to these people and what they testified to, right? It's really interesting. You've got Mowery testifying to that he's not the one doing this work. He's not the one creating these logs, that he stumbles upon it. He's saying that when he did this alleged cast mapping and used the CastViz program, he was using CastViz 33, even though the program has prompted him to upgrade to version 38. Right? So, Robert, I was just sharing it from Law and Crime Network. That's where I shared it from. It's on Law and Crime. You can just go to YouTube and type in Detective Mowery, Bryan Kohberger hearing, and it'll bring it up. So it's pretty funny to me. And then notice Anne is getting to the point there where, you know, Anne is literally saying to him, like, in order for me, so, and he's trying to pretend like he doesn't understand what she's saying, okay? You know, a 5th grader would understand what she's saying, okay? Thank you, Heather. Yep, there you go. Perfect. See, Heather's amazing. She'll put the links or whatever. I don't know how to do that shit. I can put it in the comments for you afterwards, but that's about it. So notice that she's trying to, even to the point where she's trying to get him to admit almost that he's, in order for her to be able to produce the same thing he produced, she would have to use the same version of cast in order to produce the same result. If she's using a different version of cast, it is not going to produce the same result. And he's trying to act like he doesn't understand what she's saying. Just stop. We all understand. None of us are cast trained. And all of us understand that if we were given that data and we were to put it in an upgraded version of cast, say version 38, we're going to produce a different result. Likely. than what Mowery produced, or whoever was creating these files under Mowery. Okay. Making it look like Mowery's doing it. I don't know, but, and notice that Jennings there at the end got him to admit that they only asked him to do this once, that he's only done this one time for them, for the grand jury. So that's interesting. So I don't know. Pretty wild, right? There's so much in there. There's just so much in there between Exhibit O, Exhibit W, Exhibit P, and then Exhibit PP, right? So they talk about a lot of different exhibits that he has shown in that hearing, pertaining to training, pertaining to all kinds of stuff, right? So that's why I feel like we should all go back and give these a listen and, just kind of let it marinate, and maybe some things will click and maybe other things make sense. Exactly. Why did he need to make the visualization for the grand jury in the first place, Heather? I was trying to highlight your comment there, honey. There we go. Right. I don't understand why they would have needed to do that if they already had it, right? Because allegedly this cast data was already produced at the time of the arrest warrant. It's in the goddamn probable cause affidavit for arrest. So why would new cast mapping and information and whatever need to be created for the goddamn grand jury if you allegedly had it all back in December when you kicked in this dude's parents' fucking doors and arrested him? You allegedly had this in your affidavit of probable cause. This evidence already existed in December of 2022. Allegedly. Exactly. And then you still don't save it the second time. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think balance is the problem here, Yvonne. Not going to lie. I don't think Nick Balance is the problem. I think, if anything, Nick Balance might be the reason the defense knows who the actual problem is. But that's just my opinion. So anyways, we have another live that's going to start in about 15-20 minutes here. So hopefully y'all will come back, because the next one we're going to do is we're going to cover the sworn testimony of Corporal Brett Payne next. I figured we might as well do Mowery and Payne back to back. And then later tonight, we're going to snark the fuck out of that PCA part 2. I'm not sure, Translucent. They wouldn't have that knowledge until after the arrest, right? I mean, yeah, I would imagine so. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, so hopefully I'll see you guys back at 11. I might be a few minutes late, but not by much. And we're going to go into Payne next, yeah? So does that sound good? See you guys back here in about, 15-20 minutes. And we're going to go over Payne's sworn testimony next. Hopefully you took notes if you needed to. If anything, please feel free, for any of you other creators out there that would like to use my live, you're more than welcome to, for educational purposes. I wouldn't copyright strike you or anything like that, as long as you're not using my content to make fun of me. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, but yeah. Originally, in the beginning of this, it was a little choppy at first, and then I switched over to the Law and Crime, and it was fine. So from now on, I'll use Law and Crime. They seem to have less choppy videos. So, but yeah, that's where you can go find it, Robert. Anybody else, you want to make a video on it yourself, go for it. Go to Law and Crime. They have all of these hearings there, usually without interruption and without commentary. So it's where you can go for that. And I think Heather put the link anyway. So, okay. So then, yeah, we'll see you back in about 15, 20 minutes. And